Welcome back, boys and girls. I know you've seen these pictures before, but I was thinking about the last story I told and how Jesus was on his stomach praying on the ground, and it reminded me of one of these prayers. Which prayer do you think he was saying? Was it an I love you prayer? An I'm sorry prayer? A thank you prayer? Or a please prayer? Did you say please prayer? Because that's what I'm thinking. He was on his stomach saying, please take this cup from me. He didn't want to drink the cup the Father had given him because it was going to be a lot of pain in that cup. He prayed it 3 times, but at the end it was an I love you prayer. So if you said I love you, you're right too. He said I love you because he said not what I want, but what you want. That's showing love to God, saying I will hurt if you want, because he knew God was good. And whatever God was going to do, if it hurt for a little bit, it wasn't going to hurt forever. It was going to bring about something that would fill his heart with joy. And so because of the joy for his Father, he was willing to hurt for just a minute to get the job done. So today we're going to talk a little bit more of that hurt. Why don't you come look at the picture over here? What do you notice in today's picture? There's a lot going on, and I think there was probably even more happening that we don't see in this picture because it's difficult to draw a picture of real life. Do you notice what's happening right here? That is a kiss, okay? And this is Jesus, and somebody's giving him a kiss. But when I look at the faces, do you notice the faces? They're holding what looks like sticks or clubs and torches to see in the night, and their faces look very angry and upset. Who do you think this is right here? He looks a little bit worried to me. Maybe he's concerned about what's happening right here. And look, this guy has a sword pulled out. Why would he do that when there's a kiss? We have a lot of questions about this picture. Well, let's go to the Bible and see if we can get some understanding. We're going to go to Mark 14, verse 32. All right. So let's do just a little review. Jesus was in Gethsemane. There's the tree that we saw last time. He was in the garden over here praying. And he said these words, "Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer." Here comes my betrayer. Somebody was coming. And here we see more people in the garden now, and they were coming in the night. Just as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, that's one of Jesus' 12 disciples, his followers, with him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs. We see a couple people here with clubs, so maybe over here are all the people we don't see in the picture with swords. They were sent from the chief priests and the teachers of the law and the elders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. The one I kiss, this man, arrest him and lead him away under guard. Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Rabbi," that means teacher, and kissed him. The men seized, that means they grabbed Jesus, and arrested him. Then one of those standing near drew his sword. You see that? And he struck the servant of the high priest, one of them, maybe one of those two, cutting off his ear. Yikes, this is a scary story. I don't like what's happening here. "Am I leading a rebellion," said Jesus, "that you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me?" A rebellion is somebody who's fighting against others, but does Jesus look like he's fighting anybody? I don't see anything in his hand to fight with. He said, Every day I was with you, teaching in the temple courts, and you did not arrest me. But the scriptures must be fulfilled." Then everyone deserted him and fled. Everybody ran away. A young man wearing nothing but a linen garment was following Jesus when they seized him. And he fled, leaving his garment. They were so scared. But I want to tell you something that Jesus did to the one who had his ear struck with the sword. He put his hand on that ear and he said, "None of this. We're not going to have any of this. This is not how Jesus solves his problems." Because if you'll remember, Jesus took the cup and he said, "I'm going to drink this cup. I'm going to hurt, but I'm not going to be the one to do the hurting." He's going to let his body get hurt, but he doesn't want to do the hurting. Peter is the one who used his sword on the ear, and he had to put his sword away. He was so scared, he thought he was helping Jesus. But Jesus said, "None of this." Jesus was ready to suffer so that he could obey his Father and bring great love and forgiveness to the world. And he knew that what he was about to do was going to be stronger than a sword. And a sword would cause more blood to shed. But what Jesus was going to shed his own blood to forgive everybody, all of their sins. And that love would help change the hearts of those people in the garden and many more. Let's go to the table and let's draw our picture today. I decided to do something a little different. I don't know if you have any paint at home. If you do, make sure you ask your mom first. But I got out some watercolors today because I missed them. And so I decided I'm going to use a little paint. But if you don't have paint, that's okay. You can just use your brown crayon and you can color in the places where I'm going to paint. What do you think? What do you think this is? I hope you know what that is. That's an ear, right? I could try and put it on. You see? That's an ear. On the bottom of our ear are the words Jesus said, "No more of this." I put a little bit of red on the ear to show blood. It was healed though. And so I wanted to remember the healed ear more than the bloody ear, but I just put a little bit of pinkish red in there just to remember it was hurt, but Jesus fixed it. He even showed love to his enemies who are taking him away. So let's go ahead and we're going to draw this ear today. This is a tricky shape. I know it looks like a simple picture, but you're going to have to maybe practice a couple times before your ear looks the way that you want it to. So we're going to start as if we're going to draw a circle. And so we're going to go around. And then I'm going to stop right about here in my circle, and I'm going to go, instead of coming up and around, I'm going to go over and a little bit down and around like a hook. See, that kind of looks like a letter J. You see that? You can make it more of a J if that helps you. Around and down, and inside my ear, I'm going to go right in the middle here, kind of like a donut, but I'm going to make part of a circle, and then I'm just going to make it go straight at the end. So that sort of looks like an ear. And again, if you want, you can take it and you can color it with the brown like this. That's one way to do it. Or if you'd rather, and you have some paints, you could get out your paints, get your brush a little bit wet. I'm going to do a light brown. I'm just going to use a little bit because paint goes a long way. See that? Oh, I'm going to spread it all over. And I am going to paint this ear. There we go. That's a big ear I made. Oh, wonder if your ear is as big as mine. I'm sure our ears look different. All of our ears look different. With our ears, we hear. Isn't it interesting that Peter was not hearing God? He didn't understand God in that moment. He cut off somebody else's ear, but he was not the one hearing. I think that's kind of interesting. I'm going to put a little bit of red right here, just a little bit. I don't know if you can even see it, just to remind me. Oh, my ears look really different, but that's okay because everybody's ears look different. So there you go. There's our ear for today. Now, I want you to look at my banner right here. I'm going to turn it around for you because mine's getting pretty long. Whoops, I got to add on the one we did last time. Got to find my tape real quick and get my Scotch tape. And we are going to add on the Mount of Olives. Did you remember the name of it? The Mount of Olives, by folding over our tape. And I don't know if you can see the black string, but it's there. So we have palm branch, then the house of prayer, when Jesus cleaned the temple. If you remember, we had the doves all over flying. It was to be a house of prayer for all nations. Then we have our coins and our perfume. She has done a beautiful thing for me. And we had Judas who traded money. And he's the one who actually kissed Jesus in the garden. He got money to betray him. But Mary took her money and she anointed Jesus, covered him on his head with her perfume. And then they had a special dinner, and we see the cup and we see the bread, remembering the Passover. This is my blood of my covenant. Covenant is a promise that goes so deep it will never be broken, which is poured out for many. Remember, Jesus loves the world. Unless I wash you, you have no part in me. Jesus washed the feet, showing his people how to live. Then he went out to the garden to pray, and he had tears in that garden. And now we are going to add our ear. No more of this. He did not, even though he was betrayed, he said, not what I will, but what you will, to God. And he's going to follow God even when it hurts. All right? Because he is God. And he can do it. We struggle, but he can do it, and he can help us to do it too. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.